Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as we await the next expansion announcement, I kind of got thinking about, well, some nostalgia, because Whizbang's Workshop did reintroduce, while not using old keywords, and I wanted to go over just some of the ones that I'd love to see make a return in Hearthstone, whether they've been away for a long time, or as you can tell by the thumbnail, pretty darn recently, because they were just that awesome. And I'd love to hear your guys' takes in the comments below on what you'd like to see return, or maybe a spin on different things. Let me know, and if you enjoy the content on the channel, and you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as we're on the road to 83,000 subscribers. So if you're not aware, we had these nostalgic minions with Whizbang's Workshop. We had the Initiate, which was a throwback to Spell Burst, which basically the first time you cast a spell, you get a bonus effect. Nostalgic Gnome had a pretty recent keyword that we've seen in Honorable Kill. Ironically, it's pretty funny. If this minion attacks, it has the voice line of Honorable Kill. So it even has it somewhat within the spirit. But yeah, after the minion deals exact lethal damage on your turn, draw a card. And we had the Nostalgic Clown, which was basically a corrupt minion, which means that if you played a higher cost card while holding this, deal 4 damage, although it's not quite the same as corrupt, less so than the other cards, because it doesn't work with Yasharaj, right? Like, you can't get an extra copy of it, and then when you get your 1/1 mini, you have to re-corrupt it. You have to play something to corrupt it again, whereas a corrupted card would just be a flat-out changed card that would have that. And of these mechanics, would I want any of them back? I like Spellburst. I think Spellburst was a really cool mechanic. Particularly, I think there was like the Firebrand. I can't remember the name of it. The Mage Elemental that would deal like 4 damage. There was Ivory Keywarden was a really cool one too, that would get you other Spellburst cards, I think are dual. I don't remember exactly how that card worked, but it was really cool. And that is probably the keyword from these nostalgic ones that I like to see get a bit more of a full-fledged return. But what are some other ones from the older sets? Not really a keyword, but you know, improving your starting. Actually, you know what? We don't want getting Baku back, right? So let's just skip over that. There's no way they're gonna do something crazy like that. You know, no leaks have said that at all. And oh god, is it really gonna happen? Yeah, obviously we're gonna talk about Colossals. They just rotated, but I just miss them. They were just really cool. If you go through like almost all the Colossals in the game, and if you're not aware of somehow what a Colossal is, it was a Colossal plus whatever. And for like Z-Lag, it's +4, and you get 4 stocks. They would all do the same thing. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to a random enemy, and then like Z-Lag itself, if it survived, which it like almost never ever did, would improve the damage. And there weren't like a battle cry minion. If this was like yoinked out of your hand by a dirty rat, you would just get the stock. So really good at like decks that cheat out minions, and you know, big priest, big shaman utilize a certain Neptulon to this day. But regardless, rad mechanic. It introduced like just these really cool artworks for the cards, the way they work, the way they looked on the board. But more importantly, they were big, stupid minions that were absolutely broken. Like, they're absolutely broke for the cost, but you never really complained about it unless a deck could cheat it out in like turns like 2 or 4, right? That was annoying. And if you look through them, I don't even recall. I think only 1 got nerfed, right? Z-Lag itself got buffed. I believe these started at deal 1 damage at the beginning. They buffed it to 2. Frost Queen Syndragosa lost a blood rune to get a buff. Kolak never saw a ton of play, but was a decent card. Hydrolodon's one of the best hunter cards ever. And again, you can even cheat it out with like a harpoon gun, but all that people complained about was harpoon gun. It was just a super rad card. Gaia was one of the lesser Colossals, but really cool. But I just love the fact that they made these really big, cool minions you could always feel like were worth playing in your deck. Another one that got buffed, by the way, Blackwater Behemoth 8/7, and they never felt that unfair. You didn't complain about them a ton. Rogue's Krakatoa was like in almost every rogue deck, period. How can you ever complain about Glug with that amazing artwork and the long tail? Oh man, I hope that they do Colossals again at some point. Such a cool mechanic. You could just do the craziest things with these big cards. And yeah, the only one that got nerfed was Nelly because of the mana cheat aspect of Mr. Smite. and it has been since reverted and all of that. And it's a really cool mechanic that is absolutely #1 on my list that I would love to see come back. Another keyword I really loved, I like spells in general, but Twin Spell. Twin Spell was really cool. An example, we have Rising Winds. You have Twin Spell, choose one, draw a card, or summon a 3/2 Eagle. Basically, you use this first copy of Rising Winds, you get a second one immediately, put it in a place where it was in your hand, and then you can cast it again. It's like 2 spells in one. And it made a card like Blessing of the Ancients, which is like, oh my goodness, it's way worse than Mark of the Lotus, 1 mana +1/+1. But the flexibility of having 2 copies of it made most Twin Spell cards pretty relevant outside of, you know, Fresh Scent. But Rapid Fire was incredible, especially at the Hunter quest later on. Unleash the Beast saw a ton of play. Ray of Frost and Conjurer's Calling, 2 of the best mage spells of all time. They still see, well, does this really see play mild? Not really, but it's close. But regardless, 2 busted cards. This did get nerfed, and Paladin had well, they had Twin Spells as well, but again, we didn't see a ton of them, right? Like, it would be such a cool mechanic to bring back. I think, you know, First Flame, if you remember that card, was kind of like a Twin Spell. And yeah, another one that I would love to see come back. It was a really, really good one. I guess in that vein, getting extra value out of a card, Echo, which we actually did see come back with Caverns of Time. This card is pretty nutty, where an Echo card, you can play it as many times as you want in a turn, right? You have this Time Lost Raptor, and you can adapt your Time Lost Raptor. So I have like 2 keywords, which adapt probably not on my list because we have like random bonus effects that are kind of like it already. But regardless, yeah, as long as you have the mana, you can play Time Loss. Although they did change the rules of Echo that you can, even if it's 0 mana, you can't replay it for 0 because of like Snip Snap Warlock in particular. But there was a lot of pretty cool Echo cards. I think this is from Witchwood, where you had like Sound the Bells, got that whole thing happen to it too. There was like a way with Zeph to get Sork Apprentice and then go like Infinite Sound the Bells. It was ridiculous, but never super consistent. Squashling ended up doing some pretty cool stuff with like, you turn your healing effects to damage, and you could play a bunch of Squashlings and go face. And I remember the Face Collector. I'm like, oh, this card's gonna be good. It's not golden, so that should tell you it's not so good. But every you play it, you get a random legendary minion to your hand. One of the cards that they brought back with Echo that wasn't Echo was Unstable Evolution, but then they made a new Shaman legendary that could discount this nature spell to 0, so they had to add Echo onto it so they could just have like infinite evolve super early. So it's funny to see that there, as it wasn't actually an Echo card, but it is now. Probably the most iconic one is Warpath. As a Control Warrior enthusiast, I really love this card. It's really effective, like Acolyte of Pain, drawing cards. Echo is a pretty cool mechanic, and one that, again, Snip Snap, pretty darn iconic, one that had Magnetic and, again, led to that whole change to it. And Phantom Militia in, like, Quest Warrior was super solid. And, again, another mechanic I would love to see come back. And now you might be shocked. I want quests back. Actually, the old Doom quests, I wouldn't mind the ones that, like, changed your hero power, and none of those got nerfed. None of them felt that bad. But side quests is another thing they have not really re-explored that's really cool, where it's like a mini quest. It doesn't start in your opening hand, but you draw it, it's 1 mana, and then you just complete the side quest and get a bit of a bonus reward. It's a lot more fair. It doesn't say like win the game like most of the quest lines, and one that sees play to this day in Wild: secure the deck, attack twice with your hero, and then as your reward, you get 3 claw spells to your hand. So you get like 3 of these, you can deal 6 damage, gain 6 armor, nice little bonus. And Strength in Numbers saw play in like Big Druid, where you had to spend 10 mana on minions, reward, summon a minion from your deck. And most of these saw play. Clear the Way was really good in Quest Hunter. Toxic Reinforcements was really good in like Face Hunters and Odd Hunter in particular. Draconic saw play in plenty of spell decks. Elemental Allies, their elemental draw engine was really good. And Righteous Cause was an auto include for a long time in like Odd Paladin. I think the only side quest that didn't see a ton of play was Sanctuary, where if you took no damage for a turn, you would get a 3/6 minion with taunt. So it's 2 mana to do nothing until your opponent didn't damage you. It just didn't quite work out as well, but they were very powerful. None of them got nerfed, although actually this one I think did get nerfed because Leper Gnome got nerfed. I don't remember if that happened at the same time. Regardless, or no, I think it actually got buffed. The Leopard Gnome change happened before this card even came out. Regardless, really good. And side quests, if they ever want to bring that back, I'd be on board for it. quests, keep it all Doom, or just don't bother at all. And I'll leave off on one that's actually in standard right now, because this is one I would love to see re-explored already. It feels like it should just be an evergreen keyword. And then, yeah, that's Forge. Forge is just great. They have that whole awesome animation for it, spending 2 mana to upgrade your card into something a bit more unique, a bit more powerful, like this card here that spends 3 corpses deal damage, but if it's forged, gain them instead. Just a really awesome keyword that, I don't know, it just feels like you're limiting your design if you don't even use it for other cards. Like, it's such a unique ability, and if you look at all these cards, how many of them have not seen play? Weight of the World hasn't been great. Eulogizer's seen a bit of play. This got nerfed. Embrace of Nature. Gloomstone saw a bit of play in Druid and Warlock. Titanforge Trap sees play to this day. Molten Rune sees play to this day. And a lot of these cards, Musclotron, Tears, even like those, the big decks for Paladin, Asia Protocol, Glowstone, almost every one of these cards see play. Lab Constructor got nerfed incredibly quickly. Sadly, Champion of Storms hasn't really emerged that much. You would think it'd be great, but yeah, Board and Rush doesn't matter nearly as much as it used to. And overall, just a really cool mechanic, and just the ability to, like, yeah, upgrade that card, get that special artwork, see that Forge animation is something that I do hope when it does, that mechanic does rotate, should be next year in 2025, that they give it that whole like tradable treatment where they make it like an evergreen mechanic and make Ignis Core so we get killed by Wind Fury weapons forever. So yeah, those are some of my picks. Let me know in the comments down below what keywords you'd love to see come back or return. Do you want Titans to be evergreen? I don't know. I kind of like Colossals a bit more. Titans just feel maybe a little bit too broken. Anyways, let me know what you think about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.